Wah!
There are few moments in video game history as insane as the lead up to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, in a good way and a bad way. On one hand, the pure hype and discussion were absolutely off the charts. The iconic Everyone Is Here E3 trailer, character reveals were an event that would break social media for the day. Every tiddlywink of information was exciting. You'd have to find out about Rob the Robot's new Final Smash through a clip from a haunted 144p livestream, and it was the most exciting thing imaginable. On the other hand though, people took this thing way too seriously. The Smash community is absolutely enormous, so with such a sizable fan base, there's bound to be some people who take things a little too far or are just annoying as hell about it. Hundreds of fake leaks, tons of arguments, analyzing Sakurai's furniture to determine the next character, leaking the whole damn game days before it even came out. The speculation was as cutthroat as it was fun. It had you fighting tooth and nail to convince people, no, I swear Isaac's in the game. There's a pixel of his vine on the Smash banner. I remember someone made a Reddit post once asking what characters we did not want to see in the game, so I decided to respond with Dixie Kong. It was mostly the argument that she shouldn't be her own character and rather would be a perfect Echo Fighter, and in response, I got called a slur. I could sit here all day talking about the various rumors and drama and other things surrounding the lead up to Smash Ultimate. However, there was one thing that initial Smash hype that stuck out to me more than anything. Months of people discussing this, thousands of memes and videos, even yours truly getting involved in it. And what would that be, you ask? Well, let's go back to Sakurai's background. See the colors of the chairs in his background? What do these colors remind you of? Mr. Munch? Waluigi, the gangly purple man from the Mario franchise. He's quite iconic, being a fan favorite despite his lack of notable appearances. His most prominent roles in the Mario games are relegated to spin-offs, but despite this, he managed to gain a cult following online. Some notable fan games, the occasional funny image, webcomics like Brawl in the Family. I absolutely love Brawl in the Family, by the way. Please go read it. It's still so good. And being so notable, of course he was in Smash Bros. As an assist trophy. No! Yeah, he wasn't actually playable, but since Brawl, people have been wanting him included. I could have sworn he was in Melee when I was a kid. I mean, this image was really convincing. He was never one of the most requested characters for Smash though. I mean, you see all the unofficial Smash ballots for the Wii U and 3DS Smash games, it'd be like Sora and Bandana D and Steve. Waluigi never even cracked the top 10 or top 15. Sure, people wanted him, but it was never rallied behind cause like Ridley or Geno. But if Waluigi had used code TOADBUP for 10% off his GamerSupps order, then maybe he could have beat out Geno. That sly son of a gun drank the new Zero Sugar energy cans, and now he's everyone's favorite. Let's fast forward to August 2018, specifically E3. We were given a trailer for the newest Smash game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was a monumental trailer, and there was one small part that stuck out just as much as the character reveals. Waluigi was once again shown to be an assist trophy. But this time, the response was different. Instead of the usual, aw shucks, maybe next time, people went ballistic. The internet immediately came to the defense of Waluigi. He was robbed, he should have been a newcomer. Oh, it's all just a big fake out. I don't know why the masses went up to bat for the main villain of Mario DDR so fast, but it spread like wildfire. You started seeing people post memes of sad Waluigi, animations, song parodies, my boy Matthew Taranto back at it again. Grande was firing on all cylinders. There was this one popular comic of Waluigi giving his invite up to Daisy, which was sweet, until you realize it was made by Shadman. Buddy, I think you have bigger issues than Waluigi not being in Smash. It was a cornerstone of Smash discussion before the game's release, and looking back on it, it was a little dumb. Like, listen, I think there's a genuine case to be made for his inclusion in the game. I mean, look at Super Smash Flash 2. They made an incredible moveset for him that's actually fun to utilize and fits his character. But at the end of the day, it was all just one big joke. Funny Purple Man should be in Smash. Let's harass Sakurai and his conveniently colored chairs. And if anyone has the authority to say this, it was me. I was Waluigi's #1 defender. Here's a picture of me with his logo drawn on my face from 2018. By the way, this was the week of my high school homecoming dance, and my cheek was still a little purple on the day of. If this isn't proof enough that I was a Waluigi fan, I shudder to see what is. I really want to dive into the Waluigi rampage the internet faced in 2018. The YouTube videos, animations, song speculation, all of it. I'll try to keep it brief because there is a lot of ground to cover here. Okay, fine, I'll talk about the damn chairs. Waluigi was confirmed to just be an assist trophy, so of course, everyone tried to insist that he wasn't just an assist trophy. Me included. Once again, I loved that lanky bastard. After the summer E3 trailer and Waluigi's sudden popularity, people thought this meant that he could be included for some reason. Of course, one of the big ones was the chair theory. So Sakurai would have these little live action segments whenever a Smash Direct would happen. And during one of these directs, wouldn't you believe it, there were purple and yellow chairs in the background. Theories went wild. Was this a hint that Waluigi would be the next character? Oh, or maybe even Skull Kid? Well, I mean, if you squint your eyes and hold your breath for a few minutes, she could be purple and yellow. Yeah, this theory was absolutely nothing. People tried to claim that this background from the previous direct foreshadowed K. Rool, so the chairs would do the same thing. But they were just chairs, man. If they predicted anything, I saw one person say that they represented the main bad guys for World of Light, but I think Sakurai just had those chairs. Sakurai isn't the kind of guy to put cryptic secret Easter eggs in the background. This isn't some Scott Cawthon WD Gaster sh**. Of course, every 5 days a new 4chan Smash Bros leak would present itself as well. Waluigi for Smash, Banjo for Smash, Master Chief for Smash. I mostly would hear about these through the occasional Twitter post and the YouTuber Lax Chris. And man, do I miss Lax Chris. Who else is going to claim like 12 times in a row that Frisk is coming to Smash Bros? Waluigi eventually became one of those characters like Geno or Crash Bandicoot that would be included in every fake leak. Let's see, there was the whole Rayman stuck in the ice rumor, and some people thought Rayman would burst out of the ice and be a newcomer. Okay, actually, why does it look like he's in the ice? I bring this up because there was a few people who said that was Waluigi in the ice, and even more people saying, oh, if Rayman could burst out of the ice, Waluigi could burst out of the assist trophy, or he could have a trailer with Daisy in it. But no. Most rumors and theories at this time were just pure coping. Since the roster for Ultimate was probably made years in advance, there is no way that Nintendo saw the internet's cries for Waluigi and added him in time. Even an open letter from Waluigi himself wasn't enough to convince the good people at Nintendo.
Oh, cool, you use a fire hydrant. That's what dogs like to pee on.
Speaking of YouTube, that's without a doubt where I saw the most Waluigi content at this time. I had things like Twitter and Instagram, but I wasn't nearly as tuned in with those as I was with YouTube. And besides, are you gonna get things like Mario and the T-Pose virus on Twitter? Didn't think so. I saw so many videos around this time about Waluigi. Advocating for Waluigi, making songs about Waluigi, having Waluigi do the silly Fortnite dance, and he's like, I will be in Super Smash Bros. Like I said earlier, it was kind of the funny thing to do. You said you wanted Waluigi in Smash, even if you didn't really care. Now, I personally really wanted him in, but maybe I just fell victim to the Waluigi bandwagon. Fun fact, one of my oldest surviving privated videos is a bunch of sad Waluigi memes in a slideshow with sad music playing. If you see 71 people hospitalized for total renal failure in a few years, I'm so sorry. One of the biggest videos pushing Waluigi, though, was made by SMG4. If you don't know who that is, SMG4 was a channel that makes these Mario 64 parody sketch videos. I say was because as I was writing this, he quit. Okay, he didn't quit. He's doing other things. I used to be a huge fan of this guy when I was younger. Who could forget the classic R64 series? Sure wonder what that stands for. Anyways, as time went on, SMG4 drifted away from solely making goofy Mario sketch videos. He started making new characters and overarching plot lines, and one of the biggest indie animation studios of all time, and live execution. It was pretty clear that at some point he was getting ambitious, and wanted to try his hands at some more serialized content. And that all started with none other than Waluigi's Time. That's right, if you like the amazing digital circus, it's all this f***er's doing. The Waluigi arc was the first of many story arcs that SMG4 would do. I remember this arc of videos so well, because it's right when I stopped watching his channel. Maybe I was just so pissed there was no more Waluigi, who knows. The crux of this whole arc is that Waluigi wanted to be in Smash, but Master Hand wouldn't let him because he wasn't unique enough. This leads to Waluigi gaining the power of rejection and getting all buff and evil, getting denied from Smash again, and then Waluigi basically just goes off to get more evil and powerful. What a video. I wonder what the comments have to say about— oh fuck! There's a joke here about having 2 nickels, I swear. I do actually like how SMG4 went about building the Waluigi story. He continued to make normal videos after the Soul Waluigi one, but sprinkled in story beats relating back to Waluigi's time, having him be a background antagonist or whatever. Like in Mario and the T-Pose virus. Man, was this a time to be on the internet. It was just a throwaway scene at the end of the video, where it was revealed that Waluigi started the virus, but it still continued the story slowly. There was Mario Cafe, where Waluigi was denied service at a cafe. Mario the Scam Artist, where Wario talks about missing Waluigi and then going off to look for him. Mario Saw, where Waluigi just kinda traumatizes Mario until he rejects him. It's a whole thing where him getting rejected makes him stronger, so every appearance he made would just include rejection in some way. It all came to a head in the Mario convention featuring Mario and Meggy. Yeah, Meggy is like this Splatoon character from the SMG4 universe who got redesigned and then got her own show. Keep up with the lore, come on now. They're racing to meet Hideo Kojima at this gaming convention, and Mario manages to beat Meggy to the punch, when all of a sudden, oh no, the T-Pose virus! And it was Waluigi the whole time, and now Waluigi has control of the whole world! Great googly moogly. This led to the 1-2 punch of Waluigi Apocalypse and War of the Fat Italians 2018. I remember being so excited for these videos to come out. I was already a huge Waluigi fan, but funny, cool, action-packed SMG4 videos featuring him too? I couldn't wait! I also never told a soul that I watched these because I was 14 and had a high school reputation to uphold. But that was also the same kid that did this to his face on the week of homecoming, so I guarantee they all already knew. I'm not gonna cover the whole videos beat by beat, and I guess spoilers for a video from 7 years ago, but this character named Tari ends up being the one to save Mario and pals. She has this controller with the same powers as Waluigi's rejection, and so she controls SMG4 to beat up Mario and then beat up Waluigi. This also doubled as a teaser for Glitch Productions' first show, so once again, Digital Circus fans, this is what you have to thank for your show. And of course, the whole saga ends with Mario and his friends getting into a sweet rap battle with Waluigi. As they're spitting some freaking epic bars, Wario flies in from the heavens to bring Waluigi back to his senses. Also, the whole plot gets resolved by them going to therapy, which is actually kind of a funny resolution. It's clear SMG4 put a lot of effort into this, especially if you compare them with the videos he was making at the time. These were a lot higher quality. They're not as funny as I remember them being, but then again, these are 7 years old. But if we're starting to talk about songs featuring Waluigi, then by God do I have like 90 terabytes of other songs we can talk about. There were so many songs about Waluigi, like a strange amount actually. Raps, parodies, ukulele songs that diss Young Link like the fraud he is. It's honestly hard to tell if some of these were ironic or not. I'm sure at least some of them were. I remember I used to like this one by Nenorama. I'm now just realizing it was also made by CG5. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. This song was more about how cool Waluigi was rather than him not being in Smash, but it was still made during the Smash hype, so I'm pretty sure it still counts. It's an alright song. The Luigi verse still pops into my head a few times a year.
Who's that guy? What's his name?
The big one everyone remembers though were the Waluigi vs Smash Bros rap battles by Mashed. Mashed is an animation channel that loves to make animations about video games. I've seen a few things from them because they used to advertise on Snapchat of all places, but not that much. There was just something about how their videos looked to me. It gave Mario's a Psychopath vibes, and it turns out I was right on the money. Waluigi vs Smash Bros rap battle is exactly what it sounds like. Waluigi is sad he's not in Smash Bros, and so he raps about it. Instead of a slow burn gaining the power of rejection though, he just goes and beats everyone's ass. The animation is solid in all of the parts, but that's not my problem. Remember earlier when I said it's hard to tell if some of these were ironic or not? Yeah, this is one of those. Like, on a surface level, it's a trilogy of songs where Waluigi raps and kills all of the Smash characters. That sounds intentionally goofy. But then you watch the videos, and they're coming off just a little too strong. Waluigi's portrayed as this ultra badass who's easily cutting through the roster. Oh, and he gets all of the ladies too! Oh god, this was the Bowsette era, I forgot about that. 90% of the songs are just Waluigi describing how he fought various characters, with some clever lines, of course. I like when he says, "Pikachu's about to fry me like a fish fillet." I also like this part towards the end of the first song where the Smash 64 song is playing. That's not ironic, I actually do enjoy that. But otherwise, the song is alright. Very basic rap about Waluigi being shot at like 20 times. I think the songs want us to root for him, but this asshole just starts slaughtering everyone. I mean, he rips off Pichu's face and eats it for 100 grams of protein. There's better ways to do that, man. Just download MyFitnessPal. Holy shit. After Waluigi gets stopped twice, almost executed, blows himself up, and kills off the rest of the cast, he has one last duel with Luigi. Waluigi goes hyper, finishes the job, and is the last person alive. Sad and broken. What do you mean you're sad? You just killed everyone! Whatever, he gets a Smash invite, everyone's revived, blah blah blah. I'm not listening to whatever this is. It's insane to see just how many views something like this got. It really goes to show just how popular of a character Waluigi became after the whole Smash debacle. My favorite Waluigi song though would have to be Wa Elegy by Matthew Taranto. Matthew already has 14 years of experience making Waluigi and Nintendo parody songs, so when making Waluigi songs became a trend, you know this guy stood up and said, "It's like I was made for this." It's a parody of the song Hallelujah sung by the Aubergine Man, and it's actually really well made. The Waluigi impression actually sounds good for this song and isn't annoying. The instrumental is great, the art is goofy and fun. Matthew does a ton of music stuff, so it isn't really a surprise that this is the best of the bunch. The line where he says, "Ah, go assist yourself," gives me chills to this day. Before I was 15, my playlist was 80% video game mashups and nerdcore. Please don't hold this against me, I was raised to be this way. There's a few more songs out there that got some popularity, like Justice for Waluigi by Darth Nader. He actually made a follow-up to the song in 2020 called Waluigi for President, which isn't as good, but I respect the dedication to Waluigi in 2020. Okay, this has nothing to do with Waluigi, but this guy made a song in 2019 called No Biden, where he makes fun of Joe Biden. It's his most popular video by a long shot, and it's really funny because everybody thought he was a Trump supporter because of this, when he clearly wasn't, and stated so multiple times. And then he made a song making fun of Trump, and people got fucking pissed. The comments on this video are also an absolute gold mine to look at. At least Trump doesn't go around sniffing young girls' hair. That's the third nickel right there! There were a handful of other videos about Waluigi at the time, not just songs. Of course, all the animation parody channels outside of Mashed were noshing down on the trend. There was this little skit from Nuka Zuka, which, oh my god, I forgot about this guy. I used to watch Mario in real life, like my life depended on it. Some videos just based on Waluigi in general, a lot of reaction content, Waluigi trying to end it all. Game Theory also really liked to use Waluigi around this time. There was this one theory where MatPat calculated just how many unique Smash matchups could exist. It was gonna be absurd numbers just because of how many characters and stages and items there were. But MatPat decided to include Waluigi just because he felt like it. It really wasn't that serious, but I think it's funny that MatPat was so confident Waluigi would be in the game that he included it in the math. Nobody tell MatPat he didn't make it in. He might end up like Waluigi here. This masterpiece is actually a dub of a pre-existing comic made by Wooden Plank Studios. Wooden Plank made a bunch of comics, mostly about Smash and Pokemon, up until last year. Since I was so buried in the Waluigi pipeline, I followed up with them like years ago, but I checked in every now and then to see how they were doing. They made Wario into Scrooge, Toad into a steroids dealer. It's some good stuff. They made your basic comics about Waluigi getting into some Smash shenanigans, and of course a few appearances in some stories afterwards. And of course there's A Piercing Speech, the comic you've all been waiting for. Waluigi's watching as the Smash Gang has a Christmas party, and as he's about to splatter shot his fucking brains out, Ridley appears. He actually brings up a really good point. Ridley was once the Smash character everyone rallied to get into the game. People joked and begged and pleaded, and then when he finally made it in, nobody cared about him. His internet fame would only last so long after he got added, and Waluigi should enjoy his time in that spotlight. After this, Waluigi puts down the gun and walks away, no doubt more conflicted than he ever has been. Also, there was this comic where he dressed up as Miyamoto. Waluigi, I don't think you can do that! Besides comics and videos, Waluigi also made some appearances in some fan games around this time. Of course, there was the occasional joke Game Jolt release, some Smash Bros. Fan games, and the masterpiece that is Forgotten.exe by Randy Becker. Yes, there was a Waluigi EXE game made around the idea of Waluigi being rejected and depressed. The most prominent appearance by far, though, was Super Smash Flash 2. Smash Flash 2 is genuinely one of my favorite fan games of all time. It's an insanely well-made and updated Smash game with tons of fun new characters, stages, items, gameplay, the works. The roster is what a lot of people look to in this game, though. There's a lot of great choices for characters here, even if a few of them are just straight-up anime characters. But hey, you can't knock the game for having some silly inclusions. Did you even play the first Smash Flash? I still have no clue who Blue or Blade are, but they're two of my favorites now, right up there with Mr. Incredible. Smash Flash 2 is in a weird place right now between long waits for updates and McCloud Gaming trying to wipe this game from existence, but whenever the game gets an update, people notice. And one of the biggest updates came on August 12th of 2018, where they teased the additions of Rayman and Waluigi. This was definitely just because of the hype Waluigi was getting online, because not only did we get no footage or image or anything for that teaser, but we didn't get any news until over a year later. Waluigi actually has such a good moveset here. Like I said, he has potential. It's just that 75% of Waluigi fans in 2018 didn't think about that. They just busted out the blue snowball and sang their hearts out instead. He uses moves and attacks from various spin-offs like the purple vines from Super Strikers and the dice from Mario Party. I actually love the Mario Party-esque attack here, because genuinely, what other character would utilize things from that game in Smash? He's stylish, he's lanky, I'm not very good with him, it's the whole package. So, with all of the speculation, all of the content, the whole internet demanding Waluigi be put in Smash Ultimate, what happened when the game was actually released? Well, people initially wanted him as a DLC character, and then, they kind of just stopped talking about him when characters like Joker and Banjo got announced. I'd say he was truly forgotten around the time Steve and Sans were announced, because while Waluigi broke the internet, Steve and Sans actually broke the internet, and Sans was just a Mii fighter. This just goes to show that most of the hype behind Waluigi was nothing but a joke and a trend. It's a bit that's to be relived when the next Smash is inevitably announced, but will it be nearly as much hype as with Ultimate? Probably not. There have been so many other characters people fought for to be in Smash, but it still baffles me that Waluigi was the one to catch the most wind in his sails. He wasn't even the funniest suggestion. Steve was right there, and he proved he was funnier when he was actually released. But hey, maybe Waluigi will eventually be added into a game. Maybe the year of parody songs and social media campaigning and free publicity gave Waluigi the push he needed to be included in the next Smash game. But real talk, why hasn't Blue been added to the game yet? I mean, he originated from a video game, he's cool as fuck, and I know for a fact that Sakurai is aware of his existence. I saw the video he made on elementary school playtesters, and what was I playing in elementary school? Bam, Super Smash Flash. Wrap it up, folks. We know what the roster for the Switch 2 game is gonna be looking like.
Shake the soul and makes you feel alive. Shake the